Imagine witnessing the most shocking separation in modern sports history right before your eyes. Today, in this explainer, we are pulling back the curtain on a situation that left literally millions of fans completely stunned. We're going to see exactly how what was supposed to be a flawless fairy tale ending transformed into an absolute cinematic tragedy. Picture this. It's August 2021. The undisputed greatest player in Barcelona's history, Lionel Messi, walks into a room packed with cameras. The whole world is watching. And as he steps up to that microphone, he is completely unable to hold back his tears. He's leaving. But the ultimate question that immediately echoed around the globe was simple. How in the world do you lose the player who gave you everything? Look, the reaction was absolute total disbelief. Fans were devastated. His own teammates were completely confused. This was an unthinkable ending to a massive 21-year legacy at the club, and what makes the story so incredibly compelling is that absolutely everyone, including Lionel Messi himself, was completely blindsided by his forced exit. Nobody saw the separation coming. No one. When you look at a massive fallout like this, you really have to ask yourself, was it actually just about the money? Or was there a much bigger problem hiding behind the scenes? To solve this mystery, we have to look past the emotional press conferences and uncover the silent, dangerous crisis that had been quietly building up in the shadows. Chapter 1, The Life Debt. To truly understand the sheer weight of this goodbye, we have to rewind. The year is 2000. A 13-year-old kid arrives in Spain with a massive dream, but he also has a rare growth hormone condition. His family just couldn't afford the treatment, and a lot of clubs outright rejected him. But Barcelona, they did what others wouldn't. They stepped up, paid for his medical treatment, and brought him into their famous academy La Masia. They literally changed his life forever, forging this incredible, unbreakable bond. And over the next 2 decades, man, that investment paid off in ways literally no one could have ever imagined. He didn't just win countless trophies or break records. He became the living, breathing symbol of the team itself. For an entire generation of fans, he wasn't just a player on the pitch, he was Barcelona, which is exactly what makes what happened next so impossible to believe. Chapter 2, A Club Drowning. So, by 2020, the club looked incredibly successful on the outside, but beneath the surface, a massive financial disaster was secretly rotting the foundation. Years of reckless spending on expensive transfers for players who honestly never fully delivered had severely damaged their accounts. Add to that these wildly inflated player contracts, and Barcelona had quietly built up one of the absolute highest salary bills in all of world football. They were living dangerously close to the edge. And then came the fatal blow. Those inflated contracts were already bleeding the club dry, right? But then the COVID-19 pandemic hits, abruptly emptying stadiums all over the world. Ticket revenue just vanished into thin air, gone. Without that crucial income, the financial floor completely fell out from under them, and Barcelona suddenly found themselves drowning in a fatal level of debt. Chapter 3, The Fatal Twist. Now here's the absolute wildest part of this whole thing. Despite that immense financial chaos, a new contract agreement was actually reached in 2021. The entire world thought the deal was done. The paradox here is just staggering. Messi wanted to stay so badly that he even agreed to a massive pay cut to make it happen, and Barcelona desperately wanted to keep him. But this deep emotional loyalty collided head-on with an unbending bureaucratic wall. What they wanted was completely at odds with what the rules allowed. It essentially became illegal to legally register his new contract. You see, Spain's top league, La Liga, enforces strict financial regulations designed specifically to prevent clubs from spending beyond their means. And because of their disastrous financial state, Barcelona was already massively over their salary cap. The numbers simply didn't work. The tragic irony here is that both sides desperately wanted to make this deal happen, but years and years of financial mistakes had finally caught up with the club. Even with a massive pay cut, it was mathematically and legally impossible to register his new contract. The greatest player in club history was now paying the ultimate price for the club's past mismanagement. Chapter 4, The Unthinkable Reality. So on August 5th, 2021, Barcelona releases a statement that absolutely detonated across the sporting world. The music had stopped. Messi would not continue. At first, people thought it was a bluff, like some high-stakes negotiating tactic with the league. But no miracle solution appeared. After 21 years, the relationship abruptly ended, leaving millions in absolute shock. Which brings us right back to that heartbreaking farewell press conference. A weeping Messi admitted to that packed room that he just wasn't ready to leave. He had fully imagined finishing his career right there in Barcelona. Instead, after dedicating his entire life to the club that saved him as a boy, he was being forced out. Forced to start all over somewhere else, eventually signing with Paris Saint-Germain and putting on a different jersey for the very first time in his professional career. Chapter 5, Defeated by Cold Numbers. Looking back at this absolute disaster, trying to make sense of this strange and difficult new era in football, it's a completely natural human instinct to try and find a single villain, right? We want someone to point the finger at for this unthinkable goodbye. So who is really to blame for the collapse of this iconic relationship? Well, the truth is much more complicated than just one villain. You've got the previous leadership making years of incredibly expensive mistakes. Then you have La Liga's rigid rules that actually prevented the contract's registration. And on top of it all, COVID-19 accelerated an already fatal debt crisis. There wasn't just one single mistake, it was this compounding cascade of failures that ultimately made keeping him mathematically impossible. In the end, Lionel Messi didn't leave because he stopped loving the club. Not at all. His legacy there remains absolutely untouchable. He left because football's biggest love story was ultimately defeated by numbers. It's a really stark reminder that even living legends aren't bigger than financial reality. And that leaves us with a sobering final thought. In the modern era of sports, immense loyalty, history, and passion are beautiful, beautiful things, but the cold, hard numbers always have the final say. Because sometimes even the greatest fairy tales don't get a perfect ending. So it makes you wonder, what unbending rules or hidden numbers are secretly dictating the futures of your favorite teams right now? Keep questioning the numbers, and I'll see you next time.